do it. I just wanna hello to you guys. How have you been? Continuing my favorite part of this drawing. I said sarcastically. And I don't know, sort of trying to put together something valuable. And I think that's been the learning experience here. Finding out what value I have. And I'm learning in real time. I'm learning in real time. My strengths is to be frank. My strengths don't really see this part. Don't really lie in where I thought they were, because like all the things I struggle with, all of that's being amplified. So I'm just gonna correct this line like so, and you see my pencils cut through here, and that's where that's not Thor, that is not Thor, that's just a guy with a hammer. That's where he begins. Well, actually, he begins sort of here, which is why hadn't touched this midsection, but sort of like breaking my drawings. But that's breaking my drawings down into sections, but that's not how you compose the drawing. Maybe when you're inking, that's how you break it down. But as you're putting the drawing together, putting the drawing together, things sort of align and realign. In the case, you guys, you know what? I'm gonna not point this out. I wanna see if you guys noticed it, because I'm doing my own thing here. I'm doing my own thing here. And that's part of where the experience comes in. When you do have experience, well, and that's the thing about my experience. My experience is in doing the thing. I've put together an image so many times that I know where to work, what to work on, for it not to seem like, because I'm seeing my proportions are off, especially with this arm. However, now that like I sort of mentioned it, I can see it. I don't know if you guys could see it, but I can see it. And old me would have started a new thing, but me right now, I want to see it through, see what it would look, what the finished, the end thing would look like, and move on, so that the next one after this is better and more refined and more practiced. And you guys are catching me in the process of that, in the process of trying to get better. I'm trying to remember this the underneath part of the muscle. I know that it's there. I used to draw this a lot, but again, going off of memory, I want to see how much I remember. And maybe for the next one, I'm going to do a reference. I'm going to find a reference and just do that, work on a reference. Because that's another way to practice. Get a reference going and duplicate the reference. And you do that enough times to where you pick up bits and pieces, because what you're seeing right now is not necessarily my memory of the drawing, because the drawing can be anything. What you're seeing here is my bits and pieces of what I remember in terms of making a drawing, whereas the reference images. So what you learn when you do reference images is putting the image together, seeing how you handle getting to the final product, and how best you can get there. So that's what you're seeing here. And again, something to remember, especially when you intend to ink and when you intend to do a pencil drawing, is that the underdrawing is never set in stone. Changes can happen. Excuse me about that. But where was I? The underdrawing is never set in stone. There's always room, even in the inking process, there's always room to perfect, to make better, because you, the viewer, don't see the process, you see the final image. And how you get to that final image, yes, there's rules, but ultimately if that final image satisfies, you are still golden. I want to just get back to this arm real quick just to finish off. I'm going to finish off with this arm for this session while things are behaving and I'm able to get my work off. So the underdrawing is at best a guide. It lets you not necessarily think about an overall finished drawings, which is why you can focus on the detail. You can get into the rendering. Part I like to render as I go. In my mind, I think this is faster. It doesn't look like it's faster, but in my mind, I think it's faster for me when I render as I go. And I can go back um, to what I've rendered and just get that uh, better where I can. Yeah, yeah. So the goal when you're doing something like this, especially as a creative, you're learning to create the image. You're learning to make the overall picture. And this is a mistake. Oh, okay. No, I see it. I thought I I thought I put the thumb on the wrong side here, but there is something there. Uh, and you probably one of the questions that's coming up in my head right now is, like in terms of corrections, why don't I go back to the pencils? And the reason I don't is because if I adjust this, then the the rest of it will need adjusting. But that's the thing, I can't because it's in pen. That's why with the pencil you can play around with it, erase and come back. It's fun, it's easy with the pencil. I recommend you start with the pencil because once you get to the pen, it's going to be a matter of happy little accidents. See, this is my thumb here, getting down to the rest of the hand. Just want to do that for final pieces of this video for the session. And then we can get the handle in. And as you're putting down your lines, you're keeping in your mind the whole image, what your character's doing. Remember, we started with the expression, went down to the arm, and we got the midsection together. And what we're trying to do with this whole anatomy is emphasize the size of this guy. That here's literally next to him the god of thunder, and this guy is bigger than him. That's what I wanted to convey here. And let's get back to the fingers grasping the the handle. And I'm not the most practiced hand drawer there is, hence why I try not to teach. I think this is me sort of like teaching indirectly. But you who's trying to learn or in the process of becoming, I don't want to be that guy to say, yo, leave the fundamentals alone, but learn the fundamentals. But how you compose an image is ultimately what you're trying to get to. And the rules, the fundamentals can get you there a lot faster than you just going off at the hip. Where I lose some of my, is it the head for me? Just has to be bigger just here, but when just a little bit, I like that. Yes. Okay. Gonna finish next video. Like and subscribe. Thanks for thanks for being here. If you're there, let me know. See ya.